Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. After watching Spider-Man 2 in 2004 and absolutely loving it, I read a ton of the comics growing up and overall really enjoyed them. When I was a kid, Peter Parker and Mary Jane were married, and I really loved the stories that were told when they were still together. My personal favorite moment is where Peter thanks God for bringing Mary Jane into his life. It's a wholesome moment. Then Marvel editorial decided a few issues later in that run after that wholesome moment, hey, he should sell that marriage to Mephisto, our version of the devil. Enter One More Day, a very justifiably hated by fans event where Peter gave up being married to Mary Jane to save Aunt May's life. This story is really dumb and had Marvel editorial written all over it. Marvel editorial argued Spider-Man worked better as a single character, which is why that change got made. The fans still want it undone to this day and hope that Nick Spencer's run would undo One More Day, but that did not end up happening. But hey, at least Norma didn't bang Gwen Stacy and it was retconned as an illusion by Mysterio. That's good. With one bad Spider-Man arc no longer canon, people were hoping the same for One More Day. However, instead, Marvel fans would get something more insultingly terrible for the next run. Enter Zeb Wells, a robot chicken writer, and the editor of the comic, Nick Lowe. They both were in charge of the latest Amazing Spider-Man run, which the internet has been infuriated with recently. As far as the comic run goes, I have not bought any issues. I've only kept track of it via social media, since people really despise this run, and honestly, I do not blame them. The whole draw of the comic was a time skip. Mary Jane refuses to talk to Peter Parker, and it's revealed she's in a relationship with some random dude named Paul. The run, from what I've heard, is written like Peter Parker did something unforgivable of some sort prior to the big reveal, hence why Mary Jane doesn't talk to him. So, what is the big reveal? Peter and Mary Jane got trapped in a dimension and they meet Paul. Paul pushes Peter out of the dimension and he's afraid that Mary Jane is stuck without him. Spider-Man goes out of his way to get back to the dimension, then learns Paul and Mary Jane have kids now, since time accelerates faster in the dimension. Yeah, Mary Jane cheated on Peter with Paul. Thankfully though, the kids being Mary Jane's biological children is a bait and switch. Paul and MJ just find them in the dimension when Peter is gone. This comic run just feels like it was written to get hate purchases, honestly. Especially when we get to see a buff Paul next to Mary Jane in a later issue. Seeing buff Paul is so weird and gives off the vibe that he's a self-insert, like this is someone at Marvel's wish fulfillment. I am getting Jared from Powerpuff Girl vibes, and I do not like that one bit. It is later revealed he's the son of the villain of this arc. Oh yeah, and Ms. Marvel, who is working for Oscorp in this run, doing nothing, ends up sacrificing herself to save Mary Jane by shape-shifting into her. Real nice of Marvel to kill a diverse character who had a movie coming out. It's not like it's tone deaf or anything. But yeah, overall, issue 26 of the Amazing Spider-Man Zeb Wells run was very poorly received by fans. Ms. Marvel's death is unnecessary and is witnessed by characters who she's never interacted with. Miles Morales, a member of the Champions, you know, a team she was a part of, the Spider-Man she knows the most well, is nowhere to be seen. But yeah, people hated this run so much that they succeeded in ratioing Nick Lowe with a pirated copy of it. But on the bright side, Paul lost his kids. They disappeared. Mary Jane, by the way, is not sad that, you know, a teen girl sacrificed herself to save her and is instead upset about her and Paul's adopted kids vanishing to another dimension. They're not even their real kids. But yeah, as you can see, I am not a fan of modern Marvel comics. People just want Peter and Mary Jane to be in a happy relationship in the main continuity. That is all they want. However, Marvel editorial, for some reason, is just damn stubborn about it. I am tired of Spider-Man being written as immature and being denied a relationship with Mary Jane Watson for nearly every post One More Day run. Marvel, for some reason, is afraid of them getting married and having kids. Sure, we've gotten Elseworld stories with Peter raising Mayday and Annie Parker in different universes, but I would love that in the main continuity. Across the Spider-Verse did this recently with Peter B. Parker, who got back together with Mary Jane after a divorce, now raising a baby Mayday. I remember people wanted Sony to sell the rights back to Disney after The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but honestly, nowadays, they treat the character with way more care than Marvel editorial ever has. I heard there are good Marvel comics out there though, besides Peter Parker's books like Miles Morales' Spider-Man series, and Venom's recent comics I've heard are good as well. Any recent Spider-Man Elseworlds run tends to be good too, like Renew Your Vows where Peter and MJ are still married, along with great experimental takes on the character like Spider-Man Life Story. I highly recommend Spider-Man Life Story, it is great. However, recent Amazing Spider-Man runs have been pretty bad post One More Day. The rug pull they do each run with Peter and MJ getting back together is really tiresome at this point. DC had Superman and Lois have a kid together. Do the same with Peter and MJ. The fact Marvel keeps tiptoeing the idea is just plain childish. Everyone knows that Spider-Man's girlfriend is Mary Jane Watson. If I asked a random person at, say, a comic convention, they'd say Mary Jane. I guarantee you. Peter and Mary Jane being together is common knowledge, and a dumb retcon from editorial isn't going to change that. At this point, I feel like I should ignore the comics since everything else, like the movies and games, are far more interesting. This has been Shade X, and I hope you all feel nothing but good vibes.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the... No, 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 no.
It's not that. It's not that easy in green. Having to spend each day the color of the leaves. It's not that easy in green. Having to spend each day the